The 2023 general elections might have come and gone, but the historical chapter it created in Nigeria's political history and democratic journey will remain evergreen in the sand of time.
We're happy about it. We worked, and we did not really work in vain. We worked and we achieved what we worked for. We achieved victory, and that was why we worked for the party. And we are really very happy and elated that our party won the general election. The president is a politician, a grassrooter. He knows what support group means. He knows that there are machineries in the party. He knows there are foot soldiers and there are mobilizers of the party. And he agreed that support groups will do a lot and have done a lot for him in his campaign and ensuring that he win his election.
We decided to be a supporter of the APC because of what we have in ground and what we see that the APC has for the country. Then prior to the time of the primary election of our President Tinubu, we all come out en masse to give our party a full support. And to God be the glory, we have the victory and everything has been set up.
For supporters and members of the amalgamated APC support groups, the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima remains a watershed that means a lot for Nigeria and Nigerians, especially at a time the country requires creative and courageous patriots as leaders who will take the country out of the doldrums. As attention shifted to the issue of governance, the leadership and members of the APC Amalgamated Support Group recounts the road to victory, which didn't come easy.
When we came on board, our government, the APC government, then under President Muhammadu Buhari, though he achieved a lot in the area of security, especially, but there was the challenges were becoming even more. Okay, take example is the dollar exchange rate, the closure of border, the rise in the prices of commodities. So Nigerians were like, oh, this change that these people promise us, is it change from bad to worse? So that was part of the challenge that our party faced prior to the 2023 general elections, because a lot of people were becoming disenchanted with the government of APC led by President Muhammadu Buhari. So it was a very huge task for us to convince Nigerians to vote APC again in this 2023 general election. But to the glory of God, the support groups, even against all odds, they went back to their respective domain, mobilized, canvassed for vote, and to the glory of God, here we are. We got the victory for our party and for Mr. President.
The renewed Hope administration is barely 100 days in office. There are pointers to the fact that the country will indeed witness a complete turnaround of socio-economic fortunes, going by some of the policies and decisions taken so far by the president.
I would like to start from congratulating Asiwaju, been in office now for 100 days. And not only that, to congratulate Nigeria for a visionary leader that being elected as the president of Nigeria at this critical time. Very soon, Nigerians will begin to see the dividends of democracy, and the reason why they voted for Asiwaju, because they will begin to benefit from all his promises. And you can see truly this is a renewed hope, because with what we have seen so far, we were so impressed. As a party, I'm so confident and I'm so happy that truly I voted and I worked for Asiwaju before, during and after the election. So we're so happy to see what has started, the way it started. And I just want to encourage that everybody should be on the ball, that we should continue pressing and definitely we'll get to where we're going to.
Of course, men and women of high repute under different support groups decided to put strength together to form the Amalgamated APC support group, having been convinced that the renewed hope mandate of a visionary leader, tested and trusted, is the answer to the myriads of national challenges.
The campaign slogan was tagged Renewed Hope. Okay, so the hope that people thought was lost, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, no, go out there and tell the people that my government is a government of renewed hope. And so that was the message. That made it so easy for us. Again, we're looking at the personality involved. Here you are looking at a core politician who started from the grassroots. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu started as a senator, from senator to governor, and then before he vied for the office of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So that also was a hope for us, was an encouragement to us that this, now we have a man who is a grassroots politician who has done it before in Lagos. Because if you look at Lagos, the Lagos economy is almost half of the economy of Nigeria. And so we look at it that if he can manage Lagos very well at that level, then he should be able to manage Nigeria as a country.
We are support groups, and we have various support groups in the party, and everybody is working individually. We just felt we should come and form a formidable team so that we can work in cohesion, because every support group has a mission. So by the time we come together and work as in unison, definitely we'll achieve our aims. And when we have a formidable team, whatever we want shall be granted to us by the party and from the president himself.
As a partisan group, the umbrella group of all APC registered support groups committed both human and material resources at home and in the diaspora towards the victory of the present administration, especially taking advantage of its local and grassroots reach to campaign.
We created a WhatsApp platform. Sometimes we have a Zoom meeting. Then we also have a media. We have everything that is in the national headquarters of the APC. The same thing we have in the diaspora.
Not only do we serve as a link between the government and the people, our supporters who have put in all their efforts to make sure this government is put in place are looking up to us. They see us as the major link between the government and them. So we have a duty to really make sure that we deliver on the mandate given to us by the party, not just to return the candidates at the election, but to also reach back to them with dividends of democracy. So it's a win-win situation for the government if they tap into the potentials we have in this office. And I believe that future activities of the government can even be marketed freely using the platform of APC support groups. That is my message.
As a group founded on the collective vision of renewed hope in its entirety, the leadership and members of the amalgamated APC support groups have expressed their readiness to work for the President Tinubu-led administration in order for him to succeed in the delivery of good governance to Nigerians as promised during the campaigns.
Here we are in Amalgamated, and we believe that we will continue to support the party and support the policies of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that we now have a very successful administration, so that he will fulfill the promises that we were out there during the campaign to tell our people that they should vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we pray to Almighty Allah to see that He grant him a good health and the wisdom and the wherewithal to be able to run the administration to a very, very successful conclusion.
Sometimes in June 2022, the The Amalgamated APC support group was baited with about 3,000 different support groups and 5 million membership strength, being streamlined and coordinated from home and abroad to work in unison towards ensuring the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima under the leadership of Hajiya Dr. Mariam Yunus Adanjaiki, a woman with capacity and determination to get results.
We also pledge our loyalty 1,000% to our party, because our party is the mother of us politically, is our father politically, they are our leaders politically. Whatever the party laid down is what we follow. But we should also speak out that the party needs to support its support groups. We need their support, because this work we are doing here, we are not doing on our own. They've accepted us to be part of them, so they have to accept us too to be part of them. I want to use this opportunity to thank you all once again. I appreciate each and every one of you. We worked during the election without money. That goes to show you that we are party loyalists. We worked because we love our presidential candidates then, and we are still working to show that we love our president.
Honorable Dr. Mariam Adanjaiki, she happens to be the DG of Amalgamated APC Support Group. And this is one person that I cherish so much. You know that without a woman, there's no nation. And she has been able to galvanize the youth. She has been able to create platform for the youth to thrive. She has been tremendously of assistance to me in my directorate. We have organized so many, activities like Zoom, conferences, even getting to converge, bring the youth together to give them sense of belonging, women and youth. I mean, she's just a tremendous person, a dogged fighter, is someone that actually know how to bring people together. And I want to use this platform to say thank you very much, ma. I really appreciate you. You've been there, you've been like a mother, and you are a true leader. And I will always be your true loyalist, for as much as I'm in this game of politicking.
One thing I just want you to know is that some of us, we don't look at us, maybe we are in diaspora, we are not contributing, not at all. We know everything that is going on in this country, and we have followed it bit by bit. We follow time, we follow everything time to time. So we have what it takes to move Nigeria to the next level. Where other countries be, that is where we want to position Nigeria to be.
The Amalgamated APC support groups, having defined their purpose and mandate, capitalized on their number and reach during the 2023 general elections to lead an aggressive mass mobilization and campaign of the electorates across the nooks and crannies of the country against all odds. For a man many describe as a bridge builder and true democrat that will deliver the ideals of democracy and good governance.
Today we have up to 3,000 support groups already registered with the party. And in terms of number, our members, we have about 5 million registered with us now. So you can see that we occupy a very strategic position both to the party and the government. So if you take 5 million out of the votes given to our president, you'll be left with 3 million. So we can say confidently that we contributed majority of the votes that he got during the election. So we are critical to the success of the party and the government itself. So this is one area that I would want to urge the federal government run by APC to look at, to empower these support groups through this office. Because whatever policy on poverty eradication or empowerment that you want to put across to reach the people, we have the people. Through this office, this can be achieved without any difficulty. We have the data, it's only to activate it and get these policies rolling.
These foot soldiers under the auspices of the Amalgamated APC support groups worked with passion through a well-thought-out programs and events with a strong faith and belief in the APC government under Tinubu and Shettima to recalibrate Nigeria towards attaining its full potentials in Africa and the world.
It's all about passion. And like you know, support groups are the foot soldiers of the party itself. And our great party that happens to be the largest party in Africa, you know, it's one party with unique features. And their ideology is just too tremendous and superlative. For me, I have this passion to be part of this organization because I wanted to be part of that winning team, the part of that foot soldier that would create impact to ensure that our great party, you know, come out successful in whatever electionary, you know, activities there is in our democratic process. And I kind of embrace that directorate that I'm heading because of my passion for youth activities.
One unique feature of the Amalgamated APC support groups is its ability to plan and work for the party and government beyond the 2023 elections, as clearly demonstrated in its post-election sensitization of the citizenry of government policies and programs, as well as serving as political buffer.
After the election, there's what we call post-election activities, which is what we are preparing for now. Essentially, it's about advocacy to support the government policies. A clear example I'll give you is this removal of fuel subsidy that was announced about 2 months back. Our job as support group does not just end with making sure that our candidate is elected, but to also provide what we call buffer, political buffer after the election, so that you do advocacy to galvanize support for all policies of the government, which is what we've been doing. We have been out there at the Unity Fountain to canvass support and cooperation of Nigerians for the government policies on fuel removal. Now, as an administrator on this desk, those are field activities, but how we get to this point, the kind of documentation we require to be able to mobilize our people to attend these activities are done on this desk.
Amalgamated was established by the party to coordinate and train the activities of support group. I think the post-election activity should gear towards training the support group to really understand what a support group is all about and how we can educate them more on, especially on voter education and how to make our democracy more viral and to improve on where we are today.
For the Amalgamated, we are looking at carrying out a lot of post-election activities to ensure that we support our party and to ensure also to enable us win election across the country, particularly with our governors in about 6 states right now that are contesting for election.
We help the government to sensitize the generality of Nigerians because most Nigerians don't even understand the policies enacted, because there are some policies that are not properly explained, let me put it that way, to the generality of Nigerians. Take an example of the removal of the fuel subsidy. It's something that should have been done since 2002. But because of lack of political will, some are afraid so that they will not be indicted. But for the fact that our president has a political will, he's doing this for the goodness of Nigerians, because it's a situation where the poor are getting poorer and the rich are getting richer. And we can save more when we remove the fuel subsidy. It's something we can afford. Like he said in one of his broadcasts, he said they have saved over 1 trillion naira. That 1 trillion naira can be used for a lot of social and infrastructural amenities. They can build roads, they can build schools, even hospitals with that savings. Our contribution to the development of, to the success of this government is to sensitize people to advocate on so many of the government policies and acts so that people will understand in simple terms. We are very close to the grassroots. We will say it in a language they will understand, that the government does not really mean bad for Nigerians.
For instance, in the courageous removal of the fuel subsidy by the Tinubu administration generated concerns abroad, including a threat from the labor unions of protest and strike action. During this critical period, the Amalgamated APC Support Group championed serious media sensitization and an appeal to Nigerians and concerned stakeholders to see reasons in the president's nationwide broadcast, where he explained the necessities and expediency of the time to end the subsidy regime.
For several years, I have consistently maintained the position that the fuel subsidy had to go. This once beneficial measure had outlived its usefulness. The subsidy cost us trillions of naira yearly, such as a vast sum of money would have been better spent on public transportation, health care, school, housing, and even national security. Instead, it was being funneled into the deep pocket and lavish bank account of a selected group of individuals. This group had amassed so much wealth and power that they became a serious threat to the fairness of our economy and the integrity of our democratic governance. To be blunt, Nigeria could never become the society it was intended to be as long as such small, powerful, yet unelected groups hold enormous influence over our political economy and the institutions that govern it. The whims of the few should never hold dominant sway over the hopes and aspirations of the many.
As a leader of over 2,000 of all progressive congresses, APC support groups, who are major stakeholders in the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I passionately appeal to you to shelve the planned action to allow the government to address the issue. I believe that the labor communities are also equal stakeholders in the Nigerian project, and we would not like to create opportunities for enemies of progress to use the strike action to plunge the country into anarchy. We recognize that strike actions are means to press home demands by labor organizations all over the world. However, the current situation in the country calls for serious caution and circumspection, especially with the new administration that is trying to reset the country on the path of progress. The President, Ahmed Bola Tinubu's administration has so far shown courage and needs to be supported in the efforts to revamp our ailing economy.
Since the removal of the subsidy, he is aware that Nigerians are having pain over this, and he has started yesterday by rolling out all the necessary palliatives that will be able to cushion and bring succor to all Nigerians. You can imagine the measures that have been put in place, policies that the government are rolling out, and I believe a lot has yet to come out, and we are actually looking forward to that. We know that subsidy removal is going to bring hardship, it's going to bring pain, and we're only calling on the labor union, the National Labor Union, to call off the strike and give the president and his new administration the chance for them to actually work on the palliatives and the things that will bring succor to all Nigerians.
Asiwaju started the ball rolling from day one in the office. From day one, he told everybody at the inauguration on May 29 that the subsidy is gone. And from then, you can see so far how much you will be able to save from the subsidy till now. And not only that, Ashiwaju have done a lot in terms of international community, in terms of many things within Nigeria. Look at this minister recently that he just appointed, and you can see it that every of the ministers, capable hands, professionals. Even the politicians among them are professional. They were very good and competent hands to work with. So you can see that truly the country is moving on. Recently, you can look at the issue of dollars. Dollar was going up, but recently was able to, and dollar started coming down, which I believe is a very young regime. They started just 100 days, and we can see a lot of things that is happening. And I believe
beyond the group's sustained advocacy for continued support for the President Tinubu-led administration, the group has remained resolute in ensuring that credible persons are appointed into public offices, as the President requires competent Nigerians to help him realize his renewed hope mandate. As a people of faith, the group believes in the potency of prayers to surmount all challenges. In this regard, the Amalgamated APC Support Group has organized a series of national prayers for God's intervention for the present administration to succeed in all ramifications. The prayer at the Unity Fountain recently was indeed a strong invocation from both the Christian and the Muslim faithful.
Here, in solidarity with the President and the Nigerian government, we are here to thank the President for understanding and listening to the plight of the common men. We are here to thank the Labour Congress for their understanding to shelve the said protest and strike. We are also here to thank the generality of Nigerians for their understanding with the government. We need prayer in this country because of the insecurity. We need prayer for the peaceful coexistence of Nigerians. We need prayers for God to ease our sufferings. And we need prayers for God, for God not to allow the evil ones that are trying to perpetrate evil and chaos in our country, for God to intervene on our behalf. That whatever our enemies are planning, both home and abroad, God shall not make them succeed.
And my advice to my fellow amalgamated members and APC generally, APC members and Nigerians, is that this is a new administration. We should be patient. The government, from the look of things, is starting on a good footing. They need our cooperation, they need our prayers, they need our understanding, so that by whatever we do, we should be able to pray for them, we should be able to stand by them and make with the assurance that the Asiwaju-led APC administration is going to give us the needed dividend of democracy. And I also want to use this opportunity to call on the government to also remember those that work for them, that brought them into this victory, because that victory was very difficult. But people stood by them, stood by the party and gave this victory. So they should not forget the people that gave this victory.
With no gainsaying to the fact that President Tinubu is a team player whose reward system has never been in doubt, the Amalgamated APC Support Group members are keeping hope alive to be called upon to contribute their quota to national development as socio-economic prosperity being spearheaded by the duo of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima.
This office, which is the headquarters of Amalgamated APC support groups, is very critical to the success of the party itself and the government. Not only do we serve as a link between the government and the people, our supporters who have put in all their efforts to make sure this government is put in place are looking up to us. They see us as the major link between the government and them. So we have a duty to really make sure that we deliver on the mandate given to us by the party, not just to return the candidates at the election, but to also reach back to them with dividends of democracy. So it's a win-win situation for the government. if they tap into the potentials we have in this office, and I believe that future activities of the government can even be marketed freely using the platform of APC support groups.
The policies of support groups, I know. The president that we all know is somebody that says and he fulfills. He has promised us a reward system. He has a reward system for the support groups, and we are sure by the special grace of God, the reward will come. We shall all enjoy the dividends of our fruits, the fruit of our labor, and the dividends of democracy, as promised by the president during his election.
The president today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, has actually promised every one of us in the support group, amalgamated support group, and all the support group across the country, that he is going to reward hard work and people that have actually worked for the party, and also people that have worked towards his victory as well.
And I also want to use this opportunity to call on the government to also remember those that work for them, that brought them into this victory, because that victory was very difficult. But people stood by them, stood by the party, and gave this victory. So they should not forget the people that gave this victory.
With so much hope renewed in the present administration, Nigerians are highly expectant of national transformation.